I must confess here. I'm attaching my sleeves, and I've got my 32-inch circular needles, number 10, all the way around the front, over the sleeve. Doesn't that look tiny? But it will be bigger once the yoke gets in there. But what I'm confessing is this: it's not easy. Especially getting that first row and going over the shoulder, because it's pretty tight. So you're going to do two foundation rows or setup rows for your yoke all around. And then you start your decreasing rows. And decreasing is going to be about every, you do a decrease, and then you would do 2 or 3 just knit rounds, and then decrease and so forth. And it's all written down, so I'm going to try to follow my own instructions and see if it works. I decided that when I get to the section where the 4 stitches are eventually going to be joined, so you're not knitting those, when I get to the corner of that, basically the corner of the sleeve, if I knit 2 stitches together, which basically is my first decrease in my first round, then it helps bring that corner together so that hopefully there's less of a gap when I sew it together. So I'm going to review everything that I did in knitting this toddler sweater, knitting it over 5 days, and I did complete it in 5 days. I could have actually had it done in 4 days, except that we've been out to dinner with friends, so I was working on the collar then, and so I just said, oh, finish it up on Sunday. Sunday is day 5. And that was it. I started it on a Wednesday, completed it, final completions of everything, even sewing the underarms, on day 5, Sunday. So when you, to recap, you cast on 100 stitches, and you do about 2 inches knit and purl ribbing. You knit up the body, and then you stop when it reaches about 8 inches, depending on the length of the size you need for the person toddler you're knitting it for. If you are indeed, my words today, if you have somebody in mind who you're knitting it for. I didn't. I knit my first one for my grandson. I don't have his measurements, but I have an idea of how this would fit him. And it's basically a heavier knit worsted weight yarn. So this is the kind of sweater that he would wear when his parents take him out for a walk in the falling leaves and that sort of thing, or a ride on his bike or whatever. So he's turning 3. Now, this one I decided to knit up, and again, I'm using yarn in my stash. This one I'm knitting up for my daughter. Has a friend who is a single mom, and she had a little girl, and she's now 2.5, or will be 2.5 in October. So I just went by some basic kid charts in terms of measurements. So again, I cast on 100 stitches, knit my ribbing, knit the body, put that on hold, knit the sleeves separately, and my sleeves are about 9 inches, 8-9 inches. If they're too long, the little mommy can just roll up the sleeve and it will fit. And again, this is more like, a fall type sweater for the winter when you need extra warmth for the child underneath their coat, that sort of thing. It's not the kind of thing like, oh, let's put on your sweater, and they wear it for the whole day. So, and I realized that the worsted weight that I have with this one, and the first part of it is I love this yarn by Hobby Lobby. And this part is I love this yarn by Hobby Lobby. This is a merino blend that I had. I put 2 strands together to make it worsted weight yarn. So I realized that the worsted weight yarn that you purchase is not all the same. In fact, I'm working on a 3rd one because I have it. And this one, the child is lighter worsted weight, and the child could actually wear it for the full day in a winter, like over a t-shirt or something. So back to the construction. Body, do the sleeves, and then what you do is you have all your stitches in the front, which you've got on a circular needle, and then you pick up all the stitches over the sleeve and across the back and over the next sleeve. So then you've got all your stitches in a circle. That's when you create your yoke, and you start decreasing to get up to 48 stitches I used for the neckline. And then I did my knit and purl collar, and I did this one a bit longer. It could be worn up, but I did it so that it would be worn down. I debated whether I should sew it, and I chose not to, because then you have the options of extra neck. Now, what can I say about this? I also learned that there's two different kinds of yoke styles. One is called the raglan style, and that's what I did here on this one. I did a decreasing. I put a marker on where the beginning and the end of the sleeve was, and I did slip, knit, move the marker, and then I did knit two together, and I did my decreases. I did about 4 sections of decreasing. And if you look at my knitting a sweater with no pattern, I did include the instructions in there. The other is just sort of like this one was just a gradual decreasing where I would knit, let's say 11, knit 2 together, knit another 11, knit 2 together. And again, I did about 4 sections of decreasing on this so that I could gradually shape the yoke to get to the neckline. So when you finish your body, you want to find out your front and back and mark that, and you cast off 4 stitches on the body on each side. And the same thing happens with the sleeve. You're knitting in the round, and when you're done, you cast off 4 stitches. And then what you do is you sew those 4 stitches together. And I think it's in there somewhere. I'm not the best sewer, but and the reason for that is because when you're picking up your stitches across the front, when you get to your sleeve, you want to go over the top of the sleeve. You don't want to do all the stitches, otherwise it just wouldn't work. You have to have those 4 stitches cast off, and you just leave that, and it leaves a little hole, of course. But then later, when you're done, you go back and you sew that up. So that is the construction of the sweater. And I enjoyed it so much that I decided to go to my stash and find out what other yarn I have. And this one I'm knitting. I'm not putting different colors, balls of wool together like I did for this one. You can do it that way. It's not harder, but if you're going to do it this way, where you're adding different balls of yarn, you want to try to match up your sleeve. So you want to divide your yarn up so that you do have enough for the sleeve. So I was knitting these up concurrently. So I would get so far on the body, and then I would do the sleeve and the other sleeve, and then continue on. So it kind of worked out. With this one, I miscalculated, but nobody really noticed unless you point it out. And that is this the one? See, even I can't tell. Okay, here it is. Here's the difference in the sleeves. Maybe if I put them side by side like this. The length is good, but I miscalculated when to knit my different colors of yarn, so they start at different points, and I ran out and I had to get this other wool and finish off the sleeve with the yarn that I was using for the rest of the yoke. So, but it's not super obvious. You can kind of see it. This color ends here and joins up with what's in the yoke. This one I ran out, so I miscalculated. But it's not a big deal. This one, I can just knit the whole thing because I have lots and lots and lots. I could knit 2 of them actually. So now I'm working on my sleeves. Also in my pattern instructions, I said cast on 28 stitches for the sleeve, but I like the extra 4. So this one has got 32 stitches, and I'm working on my sleeves. And it really is quite quick, I think, because you're using a worsted weight yarn and a size 8 to cast on and 10 for the body. Now I'm having trouble today. It's the season. Some people have colds. I don't have a cold. I just have a froggy throat. So I'll share this one when I get it done. I am finished the body, and actually, I have my 4. I do. Here's my 4 stitches that I cast off on each side of the body, and they will be, then when I get my sleeves up, I'll cast off 4 stitches there, and then you join the bottom of the sleeve to this portion, the bottom to the top of your body sweater. And then you will pick up all the stitches in the front, go over the sleeve, all the stitches in the back, and go over the sleeve again. So there's that gap there, and that gets sewn up later. So that's it. That's how I did it. And I had a lot of fun, as usual, because why not have fun knitting? Meanwhile, then I decided to go back to some of my other projects. I'm working on the back of top. I pointed that direction because the front's over there. I'm working on 1, 2. I'm finishing up on my navy top sweater. That's 3, 4 is my multicolored cardigan. I have about 5 projects on the go. And that keeps us happy. So there it is. 5 days to knit a toddler sweater. So I hope you enjoyed the information. Some of it was in shorts. Some of it is in this long form. For some reason, my shorts do better than the long form. And I think that's because people's attention span. Maybe. So happy knitting. What can I say? I gotta move on. I have a lot of things to do. I'm retired and I'm always busy. So cheers, everybody.